Hello, this is Woolly Faye. Welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to cover how to do an embossed leaf. Now, we're only going to be doing 6 stitches in this leaf, which is much bigger than it sounds actually, but you can do them 8, 10, 12, as big as you want. There's quite a bit involved in doing this, so I wanted to keep it as short as possible. So we're just going to be doing the 6 stitch leaf. But just remember that you can expand it to whatever size you want to do. Okay, we're using an Aran weight yarn today. This is a polyester, but acrylic is fine. In fact, I have an acrylic here that's Aran weight. So anything of that nature that you want to use, whether it's wool, acrylic, or whatever, will work fine. There's no pressure here. You can pause, rewind, come back and visit it again as often as you need to. We're going to want to be moving it along as quickly as possible. So I'm using a 4mm hook today, but I think the standard for an Aran weight or worsted weight yarn is a 5 or 5.5. So you're going to want to use whatever you are comfortable with, as again, this is just a learning tool, so there's no pressure. You can build a foundation row of 11 double crochet stitches, or you can chain 12 and then single crochet, as I have done here, into each of those chains. You will end up with 11 stitches there, and then add your 11 double crochet. It's however you prefer to set yours up. Go ahead and do that. You can pause the video, and then we're just going to move right along, and you can start it again when you're ready. So you're going to chain 2 to start your first post, and I've just pulled that back so I can show you. We're going to chain 2, and that's going to be the first post. We want a full row of double crochet stitches. We're actually going to be starting right in the middle of this. That's why you need an odd number. So if you're going to build a foundation row of, say, more than 11 stitches, just make sure you have an odd number, and remember your leaf is going to be working off of even numbers. Okay, you'll understand this more as we go, but you're going to need 11 double crochet. If you do this length that I've done, you're going to want a double crochet row, and that first 2 chains is going to count as your first post. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I chained 12. I lost one when I put in my single crochet stitches, and I have 11 double crochet. If I had built the foundation row from the beginning, I would have gone for 11 because I want an odd number. Okay, so you can make as many of these as you want, but just remember that they will expand. That will actually increase the number of stitches you have, and then we will be decreasing them again. So you want to leave yourself plenty of room, even though you're going to be starting with 1 stitch and working outward. You want to make sure you leave yourself room between any of the leaves that you're making. I just want to point that out to you in case you decide to kind of expand what you're learning here a bit. Okay, so we've got 11 double crochet stitches. We want to start on the center one. So 5 and 5 is 10, and of course 1 is 11. So number 6 will be our first center stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 6. We're going to be starting on this one, and there should be 5 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want the center stitch here, Of course, you can do yours, set these up any way you want. There's no rule that says you have to start on a center stitch. As I said, it's just about leaving yourself plenty of space to expand and to increase and decrease. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to chain 2, and then we want 5 double crochet into the top. So this, when I say the top, I mean these stitches right here. Okay, so we want 5 double crochet, 1 in each of those stitches. So this will be 2 because our chain 2 counts as our first post. So that's 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5. Now, when we get to our 6th one, that's where we're going to start our embossed leaf. And in order to do that, we're going to need to go up under this post. Now, if you are working in the round, you will always be working under the front post. When you work by turning the work, then of course you kind of have to do that a little differently, and that's how we're going to do it today. But I do want to point out to you that when you're working into the round, you don't switch back and forth like you will today. Okay, this is just when you turn the work, we'll work under the front post, we'll turn it, we'll work under the back post. So what we're going to do here then is we're going to come up under that post. So I'll show you that again. You go down, behind the post, and back up. So that's a front post double crochet. So we're going to wrap it, go up under the post, pull through, and then complete the double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back under that post, that exact same post, the very one we just worked, one more time, and complete a double crochet. So in review, we did a front post double crochet, we chained 1, there's our chain stitch there, and we did another front post double crochet. So now we're just going to put in our 5 double crochet stitches all the way to the end. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, there's 5. And sometimes I just want to say, when you're adding these stitches, that one stitch can get buried. It just kind of disappears behind it. So you always want to just kind of pull it back and grab that next stitch, which will be right here. Okay, you could just kind of spread it out a bit. So there's 1 double crochet, should be 5, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet, and 5 double crochet. And of course that 5th one wanted to kind of bend inward a bit, so it hooked a little sideways. But as long as you're keeping up with your stitches, that shouldn't cause a problem. Okay, so as you can see, our embossed leaf has begun right here. Now if you're working in the round, you just keep working up under these stitches right here from the front. So you'd be just doing a front post, pull that out, front post double crochet under each of those like that every time if you're working in the round, because you never turn it. But when you turn it, it's important to know the difference so you don't get confused. When you turn the work, of course, you still have to keep these stitches coming out in the front. Okay, so we're going to chain 2 for our first post, and it will always be 5 up to this one. Okay, the stitch count won't change here. We're just going to be increasing on this stitch that we just started. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, that's our first post, our second, third, fourth, okay, fifth. Notice how I just double check to make sure my stitches were right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going into the 6th one. Now those stitches, if you look here, these are 2 stitches right here. Okay, one here. So I'm just going to take my fingers and push it in there so I can show you. Those are going to be those two right here. Okay, right here. So I'm going to do a back post double crochet there because I want to keep those stitches going that. See, I still want it to look like that when I do it, but I'm not on that side, I'm on this side. So instead of going front post, which would be like this, we want to keep it protruding that way. So we're going to do a back post double crochet. So we're coming in from behind, we're putting our hook over the top of that stitch like that, and we're pulling through from the back side. Okay, and we just complete our double crochet. Now we are going to go into the center. Remember how we did a chain one? Okay, so we're not going to go twice around that this time. We're going to go into the center right here. So we're going to do a double crochet right into the center where our chain one was. So see, we've got those two post ones that we did, how we put the two on the post, but we chained one and there's a space. So we just do one double crochet in there. We're going to chain one again. We're going to do another double crochet in that same space. Okay. So you're always going to be doing, when you're increasing, two into the space and a chain one between them. One double crochet, chain one, another double crochet. It's only the first stitch that you go twice around the same post until you decrease, and then I'll show you how that works. So now we've got that second post that we put in before, and we're going to do a back post double crochet, which means we come in from behind, push up like that, back down, so that it looks like that on the back, and then we're going to pull through. Do that again. It came loose. Okay, do it again. Okay, pull through, finish off our double crochet. So now we should still have 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just checking to make sure we don't get off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we're going to turn the work. Let's see, let me check that again. Post double crochet. I think we didn't go into that correctly, so let's pull back. Does it ever hurt too? So let's go back into that back post again, because it looks like, there we go. There we go. A little bit of a detour there, so let's try this again. 1, double crochets all the way back down. 2. So when I inspected it, it didn't look right. I checked my work to be sure that I had made a mistake. I wasn't sure that it was right again. So I just went back and redid it. Okay. There's our last stitch there, and that should look right. So let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is correct. So when I inspected it, it didn't look right. I went back and redid it. So we've got 2. See, we did the back post, but it still protrudes on this side because we did the back post. And then we've got 2 in the center there. Okay. And now we're going to be working our next 2 into that chain space that we did. So again, 5 double crochet. We're going to chain 2 for the first post. Then we're going to do 5. That'll be 4 more. 1. That's 2. 3. 4. So now we're on this side, and we can tell whether we need to do a back post or a front post, because we want our stitches to protrude like this on this side. So if they're not protruding on that side, we're going to do the back post. If they are protruding on this side, we're going to do the front post. So it becomes real easy now to just keep up with that. So we're going to do a front post, double crochet underneath that, okay, and then we're going to do another front post double crochet under this one, and that's the bar that we just created on the other side when we did our 2 double crochet in the center with the chain 1 between them. So we're going to come over here and go a front post double crochet behind that one. Now we're at the center stitch right here where we did the chain. So we got the chain space. We're going to do a double crochet into the chain space, and then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do another double crochet. Okay, so we've just double crocheted right back into that chain space again. Now we're going to go behind that next post that we created on the other side, and do a double crochet, and then the post here we're going to do behind that. Now we should have 5 more to go. So this is what it looks like, okay? And if you count, we have 2 in the center, all right? And then we have 1, 2, 1, 2 on the side. So that is our 6, all right? So what we're going to do is finish off our 5 double crochet to the end. Four, 5. We're going to turn our work, and again 5, and the first one will be a chain 2. The first post will be chain 2, 1, 2, then 2, 3, 4, 5. And then of course we begin working the next set, but we've already got 6. Now remember, you can do 8, you can do 10, you can do 12, you can make this leaf as big as you want, but because we've already got 6, we are only going to work 6 of these now. Okay, so we're not going to increase anymore. All right, so we're going to go into the back post behind the first one, which is right here. Getting off the camera, there we go, right there, because we're only doing a 6 stitch one today, but remember, you can make them as big as you want. So right here is the post, the first post. So we're going to do a back post double crochet behind that. So I'm going to wrap, go up under that. As you can see, there it is on this side. All right, I'm going to pull through and complete the double crochet. Now I would continue to increase until I had the number that I wanted, but it didn't take me long to get to 6. Obviously I wanted to keep this simple and short, so we're just going to now work into all 6. We're not going to increase now that we've reached our 6. But if you wanted 8 or 10, you would continue to work into that chain space. We're not doing that now because we've reached our 6. So I'll go up under that bar that was created when we worked into the last chain space right here, okay, and I do a double crochet, back post double crochet. Now do try to remember that if we wanted to increase to 8 or 10, again we would increase into this chain space again. So we do, you know, a double crochet, a chain, and another double crochet. But when we've reached our 6, we don't want to do that anymore. So we don't increase this time. We just go in behind the next bar. That's the 4th one. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and then we go in behind this one, the next one. It's number 5. We're doing a half double crochet, and then we go in behind the last one, number 6, and do the half double crochet. Okay, now we're going to finish off this row with 5 double crochet to the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've started our leaf, and normally you could spend out 8, 10, 12, however far you want to expand. But as you can see, this is much wider up here than it is down here. So what's going to happen when you begin to expand is you're going to end up kind of with it looking a bit wonky. That is going to be reconciled now because we've put in, we created our 6, okay, and then we just went straight across with the 6, working into the back post, and now we are actually going to start decreasing. Okay, so we worked up to 6, we had 2, then we had 4, and we had 6. Each time we decreased in the center, see where this little hole is, that's where we added again and did a chain. Then we did, when we reached the desired number, we just went behind every one of the bars without increasing. So now we're going to chain 2, go across 5, 1, 2, that's 5. And we have 5 leading up to it, okay? And now we're going to start decreasing. So we're going to decrease by pulling these 2 together, and then we're going to put 1 front post double crochet behind both of these because we're keeping it, when we want it on the side where it sticks out, we want to do front posts. So we're going to put these 2 together to decrease, okay? And then we're going to do 1 behind each of these, and then we're going to bring these 2 together to decrease. So that's how you do this, is you wrap, you go in behind it, front post, okay, like you've been doing, pull through, you pull up a loop, okay, you go through 2, and instead of finishing that double crochet, you wrap and you go in behind the next one, pull up a loop, you go through 2, and now you go through all 3. So you have just created 1 stitch out of 2. So you decreased that, and now we're just going to go in. Each of these are going to get 1 front post double crochet. We're not going to decrease all of them quite yet. So 1, 2, and then of course we're going to decrease the last 2. So again, you wrap, you go up under the post, you draw up a loop, you go through 2, you wrap, you go under the next post, pull up a loop, you go through 2, and then you're going to draw through all 3. Now you're going to finish off your row with your 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is correct. So now we're going to decrease again. But as you can see, we're not on the front post side, so we're going to do a back post double crochet, but we're going to be decreasing with our double crochets. So again, I'm going to just get me a little bit of yarn here so I don't keep having to yank on it. Probably will anyway. I'm going to chain 2. That's going to be my first post. And do a double crochet into 5. I've already got 1, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to do the back post double crochet. We're going to do back post double crochet when the design is on the other side. Okay. What we want to do at this point is we want to go under both of these. It's going to count as 1 stitch because remember we decreased and joined these 2 together. So you're going to have to treat them like 1 stitch now. You don't want to try to treat them like 2 because you've joined them. So you're going to go under them. Oops, you're going to go under them like this. Okay, you join these 2 together on the last round, and so you're actually going to see that's 1 stitch. So you're going to have to go under both these posts there, and it's 1 stitch. So you're going to pull through. Do it again. I missed it. Go up under it. You're going to pull through. Okay. You're going to come through 2, but you've got to decrease again. So you're going to wrap. Now the next one, it hasn't been joined. It stands alone. Okay. You didn't join this one to anything to decrease it, so it stands alone. So you're just going to go up under that 1 post. Okay, and then you come through 2 and come through 3. So you have just decreased again. Now you're going to go up under this first post right here. You're going to pull through, pull the loop. You're going to go through 2. You're going to wrap again. And remember, on these ends, we joined them to make 1 stitch. Right, so we're going to come through them and pull through again. There we go. We're going to come through 2. And we're going to come through all 3. So now we're going to finish out our row with our 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. Kind of looks like it's on the side, but it is the last stitch. Now we're going to turn it. As you can see, we're almost through. Now see, that's six stitches. It's not quite as small as it may have sounded, okay? So we're building that up again. We're going to finish it off now. We're going to 1, 2, and that's our first post. That's our first 5 double crochet. That's the second. That's the third. Fourth. I've got to stretch my yarn out here. 5th. Okay. So that's that. And now we are going to decrease with the last 2 that are left. So we're going to wrap it. We're going to go under the first one. We've just decreased it on the other side. So it's actually 1 stitch now because they're joined together. And we're going to pull through, go through 2 loops, and then we're going to wrap, go back under the second stitch, pull through, go through 2, go through 3. And now we're going to complete our 5 double crochet for the row. And as you can see, the top and the bottom have now been reconciled. It doesn't have that funny shape anymore. All right, so just one more time so you can get a good look at this. We are now going to chain 2, and I'm just going to double crochet all the way across. We no longer have to work the uh, embossed leaf because we finished it. You can do as many of these once in different designs, as many as you want to do. Spread them apart how you want, place them where you want. But I want to go ahead and just give you a look at, once you put this double crochet row over the top, you can kind of see how it stands out. And one more stitch. Okay. So there you go. You can see yourself. Get that to work. Oops, I turned it too far. Get it over here where you can see. You should be able to see very clearly how that looks. And that's how you do an embossed leaf. If you want to do 2 colors, I would suggest working in the round for 2 colors. And one thing that's really important if you work with more than 1 color on the embossed is that when you come up under the post, you don't want to try to cover your second color while you're going up under the post, because it's a double crochet stitch. You still have time to pick up that other color and cover it after you have pulled up a loop through the post. Then when you go back, of course, to yarn over, you can pick up your color then. Hopefully I'm making sense, but you don't want to be pulling your second color through these posts. So if you ever do want to work with 2 colors, my suggestions would be never try to pick it up to cover it, because when you cover, I'll just pull this across for example. When you cover yarn, obviously you're picking up more yarn, you're keeping this on top so you can cover it. Well, with the embossed, you always want to pull the yarn through this post, and then when you go back up to yarn over, that's when you put your the other color over to cover it. You also want it to be working in the round. I'm not saying you can't do it the other way, you can, but it's just, it tends to be a little messier that way. So if you're going to be working in rows, I suggest staying with either 1 color or using something like a marbled or variegated yarn for that. I wouldn't be working with 2 different yarns myself. That's my personal preference. If you are working rows, if you want to work more than 1 color with the embossed, I would suggest where you're just going through front loop only all the time, and just working it around. I think you're going to get a much better result that way. But as you can see, it really stands out nicely just using the 1 color. I hope this tutorial has helped you in some way. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and we'll see you the next time.